What's up guys, this is Chris here, and today we're going to be going over my EDC, the gun that I carry, some of the knives that I carry, why I chose them, why I chose the ammunition, why I chose the magazines, holsters, etc. And you can decide whether or not this setup is right for you. It's okay if it's not, because this is the golden age of firearms after all, and there's a lot of awesome guns to choose from. So make sure not to pick one that you see on the Instagram or YouTube. Pick one that feels right for you and works for your lifestyle. Before we do this, I do want to thank the sponsor of this video, the Sonoran Desert Institute. If you are interested in a career in the firearms industry, this is a really good way to start. It's a good way to get an education, and it's a good way to start off having a happy life doing something you want to do. If you want to get into gunsmithing, if you want to use drones, if you want to get into woodworking, if you want to do laminate stocks, if you want to learn how to take apart your grandpa's gun and help him out, or if you want to start a business, either way, it's a great way to go. I would recommend going over to the Sonoran Desert Institute and starting your future. Now, the gun I carry the most, and I have for quite some time now, is the Shield Plus Performance Center. This is a 3-inch polymer frame pistol that comes with some upgrades from the traditional Shield Plus. Now, this is a upgraded version of the original Shield, which was the go-to carry gun for many years. Very reliable, durable design with lots of accessories available, sights, holsters, stuff like that, so that's a big plus. And then they introduced the Shield Plus about 2 years ago, which is the stack and a half, or like SIG P365 Micro 9 version, and that one really set me off because you get a 10-round capacity in the flush fit mags. You get a very shootable, reliable, durable, lightweight platform. This one comes with high definition front sight and rear sight, the fiber optic, and I actually changed the rear sight just because I don't like that sight picture. I don't like having my eyes fixated on the rear side. I think that's stupid, so I changed that out. And then I did send this one to Floyd's Custom to have a dot mounted to it and have some slide work done to it. Now, the Performance Centers, the difference between the regulars is they come in a ported version, so the barrel is actually ported. And on a little 3-inch gun like that, this matters a lot actually, and it helps the gun shoot very flat. Now, the Shield Plus shoots very flat to begin with, and then you add this porting and you really got something. I like the way Smith does the porting too, because it's ejected out either side, so if you shoot at night, it doesn't get in the way of your sight picture, which is really cool. Now, some people say it does, some people say it doesn't. I'm of the opinion that it doesn't. I shoot a lot at night and it doesn't for me, so that to me is all that matters for my EDC. And again, that's what's important. Pick something that works for you. It's got a very slick trigger on it with a flat base, as you can see here. Breaks really well. And then the reset, I care a lot more about. I like a short reset, and the Smith definitely has a very short reset that allows for fast follow-up shots. Extra texture on the Performance Center, and it has really good M&P texture to begin with, but you get extra on that. Now, I do carry SIG Elite Defense, and this is the flush fit mag here, and I think this is like 147 grain. I think I have a little bit of a mix of ammo, but it's no big deal. This is the SIG ammo right here, and then on my backup mag that I carry in my pocket, this is the 124 grain stuff, I guess, because I haven't been able to find the 147 lately, just the 124. So this is generally the magazine I carry in my pocket, and then in my truck, I carry several spare magazines that are 15 rounds, because one gun is great if you have a bunch of ammo. So I just have a bunch of magazines. My shit hit the fan gun's my carry gun with just bigger mags, and I actually have those loaded up with Hornady Critical Defense. Now, that's not usually advised. You probably use the same ammo for everything, but I'm transitioning from Hornady, which I've carried forever, the Critical Defense, to the SIG because I feel like it gives a little better performance. However, I have so much of this, and I also have so many rounds down range with the Critical Defense that I just like it. So it's good enough for my spare mags for sure, and eventually I'll shoot it out of these mags and then reload them, because that's generally what I do. Every 3 or 4 months or so, I just shoot all this defensive ammo out of my handgun and make sure that it works, and then I just reload it and keep the ammunition fresh. So that's the ammunition I use, and then like I said, I carry with the flush fit mag because it's easier to carry on my body, and then my backup magazines are always going to be the extended versions, either the 13 or the 15, whichever one I grab, and that way I have extra capability if I need it, and I have a reload in case I have a malfunction. Most of the reason I carry a spare magazine is because of malfunction clearance drills. I don't think I'm going to run through 11 rounds and need to reload necessarily, as much as I might fire one shot and potentially in some way have a malfunction. Now, people will say, well, my gun's not going to malfunction. Well, it might if you're in a grappling situation, or if somebody's holding onto the slide, or if you got it tangled up in your shirt when you were trying to draw it, or whatever the case may be. It's good to have a spare magazine just so you can have a reload in case you have a stovepipe or anything like that. Now, the texture on the gun's really good, and the recoil and pulse on the Shield Plus is extremely good as well. We have like 500 or 600 rounds through this, and then we have over 1,000 through this guy, which is my iron sight gun. Sometimes I carry dot guns, sometimes I carry iron sights, so I have both. And I really dig the iron sight gun. This is the one I took on my 14-day road trip. Super slick and doesn't bother my stomach at all. So in the summer, even when you're carrying with no shirt in between you and the gun, this had no issues for me at all. Whereas the EPS carry, since I'm getting a little thick in my old age, if I don't carry with a garment in between, sometimes the corner of the dot will poke into my stomach a little bit, but the dot also gives you increased range and capability. So now I have tons of rounds to practice with these guns, and I feel really confident in these. I can shoot them fast, I can shoot them accurately, so I feel good having this, even though it's a small gun, because I can shoot at the same speed as a full-size gun, and then I can also carry the same capacity as a full-size gun. So for me, the Micro 9 works. Now, if you don't shoot these guns as well, if you don't shoot them as accurately, I see no reason why you would carry one then. Do what's best for you. This just works for me. I like the porting, I like the sighting options, I like the slide. One of the things I like so much about it is it's so easy to grip. The slide's a little bit bigger. Love the trigger, love the grip. I can shoot at 100 yards with this, and it only weighs 19 ounces, and I can shoot super fast up close, which is all I needed to do. Now, holsters I carried in. The main one is this phalanx concealment. You guys have seen this before, and none of this stuff was given to me. I purchased all this stuff. I just like these holsters. This is one of my favorites. I just like it because it's flannel and because it carries very comfortably, and I never noticed this there. I want to do a little extra slick stuff. I just got this T-Rex arms holster, and then I can carry a backup magazine, which is very cool as well. So we're going to be testing this out over the next couple of months and seeing if I like this setup. Personally, for me, a lot of times these look really cool on Instagram because they're really easy to draw from, but I often find most people don't carry this setup because obviously it's uncomfortable. This whole thing is going to be in front of your bladder there, so remember that in advance. The carry clip is cool. It keeps it flat to the body, but it also makes it a little more uncomfortable in my personal opinion. So the last T-Rex arms holster that I carried a lot, I actually took that off. So you do what's right for you, and if you don't drink as much beer as me, maybe you don't need to worry about that. The last holster I want to show you, and one of my favorites that I've been carrying the optic gun in a lot lately because it has a really slick optic cut, is going to be the QVO Tactical. The holster is absolutely quality. For the money, these are incredible. Now I went through the ammo, we went through the guns, and now something I don't show you too much is the knives. So if I don't have a handgun on me, which is very rare, but if I don't, I always have a knife on me because I feel like a tiger's worthless without his claws, and human beings don't have teeth or claws, so we need to carry them with us. This is my best EDC knife I've ever owned. Not this specific one, but I have about a dozen of these. If you watch back on my channel, even my first EDC video I was carrying one of these, because I've carried this for a decade, and nothing has ever replaced it. This is the Spyderco Endura 4. It's super thin, super lightweight, 4-inch blades. You get to the vitals if you need to, and on top of that, the blade is thick and strong. I use it as a pry device all the time. I have many of these with the beat up blade. Some of them are missing a tip, because I also use it as a screwdriver and a pry bar. I'm a country boy. This isn't something that I carry to look cool. I use this every single day to open boxes, to pry open anything I need, to turn literally optic screws on guns, to clear malfunctions, whatever I need it to be. This does it, and it's so thin and light I can carry it with me all the time. And on top of that, it's really easy to operate even one-handed, which is important for a defensive blade, especially a folder. Now, if I want something a little extra, I generally carry a fixed blade. And the reason for that is, when I was younger and a little more spry, I used to do a lot of jiu-jitsu, combatives, police combatives, boxing, stuff like that. And I've been in a lot of street fights in my life, and I'm not proud of that, but it is what it is. And I lived in Iowa, and the only two things to do here are drink and fight, so you do both, generally together. And I've never used a knife in combat, but I have been stabbed by a knife somebody else had, and I can tell you it's easier to get a knife, especially in combatives training, if it's a straight blade. So if a fixed blade with a full tang is what I look for, because I've had a lot of these break. I have not used a lot of knives in knife fighting, but I've used a lot of knives in administrative tasks. I was a tree trimmer for a decade, and I'm always cutting ropes, and I'm always prying on stuff, and a fixed blade full tang will generally not break on you, and that is what I look for. This is my most expensive knife, and I freaking love this. This is the Headhunter blade. This came with a trainer, and this is ultra light, and you can really open something up with this. This is super small, super lightweight, and it can be drawn with one hand. It doesn't need to be folded out, and it can actually go in the sheath either way. So you can go in that way, or you can go in this way. So if you're right or left-handed, you can grab it any way you like. If you want to grab it with a reverse grip, if you want to grab it with a regular grip, you can do both of those depending on which way you're laying, which way you're sitting, that kind of thing. It's a super good get off me right now tool, especially if somebody were going to be throwing you down the ground, choking you, beating your head against the ground, or potentially trying to shoot you with a gun and you only have one hand, you have to get them off. This is a really, really good way to go. And I really like this knife. However, it's super expensive. However, it has probably the best, most comfortable handle, and it has the best sheath out of the box I've ever had. And for an EDC knife, especially a fixed blade, you want a really good sheath, and you want something that will never come unclipped. This clip is like a dual clip, and I've never had this come out of my pants when I'm drawing it, and specifically my mesh shorts. And that's actually why I carry this. When I go on runs in the country, I don't like to run with anything bigger than usually like a little 380 in my pocket. And a lot of times this is perfect for me. I can clip this on basketball shorts, and it doesn't have a belt or anything, and I can still draw this and it will catch the shorts and it will pull the knife. And I love that so much. So if I don't have a gun, I almost always have this guy, and I really like this thing. It reminds me a little bit of the clinch pick. I'm a big fan of Craig Douglas. I grew up in Iowa, and I like to wrestle. I wrestled since I was a kid, and wrestling techniques, underhooks, overhooks, collar ties, they appeal to me. And Craig's got a bunch of really good videos on how to use these effectively. Last thing you're gonna need, and Ken Hackathorn would disagree. No, I'm kidding. This is my personal favorite light. I actually used to watch Travis Haley videos a lot when he used to put them out, and this is his light, his Surefire. This is the D3 FT from Surefire, and this is a super awesome EDC light. It takes the same batteries as my Surefire Scout, so I have tons of them everywhere. You can see animals and people at a distance of like a staggering 100 to 200 yards for this tiny little light. And the thing I like about it the most is it comes with this ring. So if I want to fire the gun with my light, I'm not as hampered as I normally would be. So a lot of people do the lantern technique or maybe the FBI technique, whereas with the Haley Strategic light, you can actually snug it up and use a modified two-handed grip with your handgun. And that's pretty cool, but the biggest reason why I like it is just because it's easier to use with one hand. And I almost use this exclusively for administrative tasks when I'm walking the dog. If I got to get a possum out from underneath my truck at night, which has definitely happened, I have this on my side, and I can use this with one hand and my two fingers, and I can articulate it any way I want. I've had a lot of EDC lights, I've had a lot of EDC knives, and I've had even more guns, and over a decade or so of attempting to perfect my EDC system, this light, these knives, and this handgun is what I've come up with. So that's what works for me in my particular lifestyle, although I live in the country and I am doing a lot of things in unlit areas. Oh, the last thing I wanted to comment. There's a dude, Seaworthy Leather, in Iowa. He made me this wallet. He didn't ask me for any promotion or anything like that, but I've been rocking this now for 6 months and testing this out. This is one of the highest quality wallets that I've ever had. He makes these by hand, and he is a veteran. It's a veteran-owned company, and it's local to Iowa. If you want to get yourself a dope wallet, he does all kinds of cool designs. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. You want to see an elaboration on this, let me know. We don't have any knife footage yet, but if you guys want to see me rip up some ballistic dummies and stuff this summer, let me know in the comment section below. I'm thinking about doing a little more knife videos, possibly even a sword video, because I've been trying to figure out a video to do for home defense for people who don't want a gun. And what's worked for generations? Swords, baby. So let me know if you're interested in that. It's kind of weird, but I want to see it in the comment section below. Please help out your local homeless shelters, and remember to recycle. I'll check you later.
Is this your first day at work? Ruckus. Is him so tired?